Most of you probably don't know, I have been working on the scoring system uh, that I'm going to score the Buccaneers on this year for playmakers and clutch plays. This doesn't necessarily for defensive side. For example, you don't get a point for making a tackle. You get a point for making a tackle if it's tackle for loss or 2 yards or less, or let's say it's 3rd and 5 and you make the tackle at 4 yards, you get a point for that. But if it's 1st and 10 and they run for like 5 yards, make tackle, no point. Um, so things like that. Like I said, it's there to reward playmakers and people that come up in clutch situations. So there's been a few questions about, why I've chosen the points that I've chosen and why I've left out quarterbacks. And there's been some offensive line questions. So I have taken my scoring system and I've pinned it to my Twitter homepage at rendax, REN_DAXT. So you can check it out there. So you can always go back and there's a hard copy, I guess, for you. So you can always look at because this is going to be a season long thing. This is sort of the beta version here in preseason. Um, Tweaking a little things here or there. Like last night, I started running backs. I think it was like you get a point for rushing for 5 yards because 2nd and 5 that's really good. But then I thought, well, 4 yards is sort of what people think is you're an average running back. You should average 4 yards carry. 5 is good. So I guess so I thought for it to actually earn a point as being clutch or a playmaker, it'd have to be first 7 or more, and then like at like 19, you get 2 points and things like that. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going over uh, the entire point system, offense and defense. It shouldn't take long, but I want to explain things like why or why I didn't do certain things. So, starting with offense, these are the plays that will get you 1 point on offense. If you rush the ball over 7 yards, which I just discussed, a reception between 15 and 29 yards. So a 7-yard reception, a 14-yard reception, a 3-yard reception, those don't get you any points. A play resulting in a first down, that gets you a point. So those 7-yard receptions and 3-yard receptions I just talked about, if they get you a first down, then you do get a point because first downs obviously move the sticks and keep the drive going. Clutch play, playmaker. And then you can add an extra point to any of those if it happens on 3rd down. So not only did you rush for, or no, I'm sorry. If the player is, let me go back. If the first down, if you get a first down and that happened on 3rd down, you get an extra point because keeping the drive alive on 3rd down, I think it's clutch. And not only your playmaker that you got the first down, but you become clutch because you did it on 3rd down. Because if you didn't get it, didn't catch the ball, didn't make the yardage, however you'd like to say it, then they'd have to come in and punt or kick a field goal, one of the two, or go for it on 4th down. But we'll get there in that. 2 points for offense. This will get you 2 points. A rush over between 7 and 19 yards. A reception between 30 and 64 yards. So if you have a rush and it's for 8 yards, you get 2 points. If it's 8 yards and a first down, that would add a point and then if it happens on 3rd down, that would add 2 more points. So if you rush for 11 yards, it's 2 points. You rush for 11 yards and ends in at the first down, you get an extra point, makes it 3. If that whole sequence happened on 3rd down, you get 4 points because there's a difference between doing it on 1st down, 2nd down, and 3rd down because 3rd down is the do or die, and that's where the clutch part comes into this. Like I said, same thing receptions, but receptions for 2 points that's between 30 and 64 yards. And this is what gets you 3 points on offense: a rush over 20 yards, a reception over 65 yards, or a 4th down conversion. Because is there anything more clutch than that? Than having converting on a 4th down? Usually it's going to be at the end of the game or end of the half or somewhere late in the 4th quarter where the team, like, it's do or die. Like, if we don't get this 4th down, our scoring chance or possibly the game is over. So you get that extra. You get 3 points just for that. for converting on 4th down. And then if that happened to be a rush over 7 yards, or which probably won't be, but a you know a pass over 15 yards, and then it would add another point for that. Like I said, there's a hard copy, pinned to my Twitter feed at rendax ren_daxt, and then these are what else gets you points on offense. 6 points for a TD, and then you lose points if you lose a fumble. I really don't care if you fumble, because if you fumble and the offense recovers it, it's really sort of no harm, no foul. Now you make an argument it happened on 3rd down, but I'm trying not to get too technical into that. But if you fumble and you lose it, that's a turnover. So minus 3 points for a fumble lost by a running back or wide receiver, tight end. And then if during that fumble you get a scoop and score. So last night, Justin Watson fumbled. If the cornerback who came up and recovered it scooped it up and ran in for a touchdown, that'd be minus 5 points instead of 3 points for Justin Watson. All right. And now I will go to the defense. This one's a little more complicated because there's so many different things you can go. And honestly, if you look at this and sort of break down my breakdown, this is much more, I don't say friendly to a defensive, but there's lots of ways to get more points on the defense. And this is sort of how the whole, I guess, the impetus of this idea started was I want to know, if Gerald McCoy, okay, he's not getting sacks, but is he getting stops? And is he getting good stops? Same with the linebackers. Okay, a cornerback gives up a reception. Well, everyone gives up a reception, but is he giving up on 3rd down? If there's a pass breakup, that's a point. But if it's on 3rd down, it makes a little more extra because it's almost like a turnover. So here we go for defense. This are all the things that get you 1 point. Tackle for loss gets you a point. You force a fumble, gets you a point. A pass breakup gets you a point. If you bat the ball at the line of scrimmage like Golston or Lambert did last night, that's a point. Now, here's a tackle for 2 yards or less. So if it's 1st and 10, the running back, goes up the middle, and whoever tackles him, if it's for 2 yards or less, they get a point. Unless it's like 3rd and 1, they get 2 yards. That won't count. Or 3rd and 6 inches, and the running back gets, and you stop them for 1.5 yards. That doesn't count because you didn't do your job, because your job was actually to stop them from getting the 1st down. A QB pressure that results. They should be rewarded in this system. Just because you're close to the quarterback and releases it, or knock him down after release it, if it goes to the receiver and the receiver gets a 1st down or picks up 25 or scores a touchdown, did you really do your job as the defensive end or blitzing linebacker or whoever it might be that put that pressure on? No, I mean, you almost got there, but that shouldn't be rewarded. That's why I don't like when people, well, he had so many QB pressures, but what do those QB pressures result to? Did they result to where the quarterback was getting it out, had to get it out because he's going to get sacked and it was an incomplete, or it was a bad throw that resulted in an interception or a pass breakup? Those are things that I think should be rewarded, not just because you almost got there. You have to almost get there, and it's not so much the quarterback, was just, the timing was there and the quarterback released it and you almost got there, but it's still completion or still 1st down. Like, those things shouldn't be rewarded. Only if the pressure that you bring results in something negative for the offense, I guess is the best way to put it. My phone closed. So let's go back. Okay. And then last thing will get you a point on defense is a tackle that is short of a 1st down, if that makes any sense. So if we'll say it's 3rd and 5 and the running back runs up the middle for 4 yards. Now you don't get, and whoever tackles him for 4 yards, you get a point because you actually stopped the 1st down. You don't get a point because just for the tackle, and 4 yards is too much to give up to get a traditional point. But but if you it's short of the first down because of your play, I think you should get a point on third down. Like if now they got to punt or kick a field goal or do whatever they do or go for it on fourth. I will get into that. Go for it. Oh, that's kind of null. But they have punt or have to kick a field goal. You've done your job. Okay, yeah, maybe they got 4 or 5 yards, but as long as you didn't let them get the first down. Another example would be 3rd and 7. The tight end does, like an inside dig route, catches the ball for 6 yards. He's trying to get the first down. Linebacker comes up and tackles him. Now it's 4th down. You get a point for that. Yeah, you let him catch the ball, you know, uh, but since it was 3rd down, it's once again, it's almost like a turnover because they have to. It's not first down. I don't want to say they have to turn over the ball because there's so many other things they can do. I got to keep my finger on this. All right, 2 points for defense. All right, a sack is 2 points, interception is 2 points, and a fumble recovery is 2 points. Now, the reason a fumble recovery is 2 points and a forced fumble is 1 because a forced fumble is great, but that doesn't guarantee that you're getting the ball. I mean, yes, you should get a point for the forced fumble, but the real, sort of jewel in that play is recovering the fumble. So that's why a fumble recovery, because that's the actual turnover, would get 2 points, and just a forced fumble get 1. Now, these are other ways you can score points on defense. You get 3 points for a safety because not only are you scoring points, you're also getting the ball back. So I think it should be more than 2. Or a play that results in a defensive TD, such as you bat the ball in the air, someone else picks it off and runs it in for a touchdown. I think you should get more than 1 point for the batted ball. So you get 3 points for that. Or you force the fumble. Okay, that's only 1 point. But if somebody scoops and scores, I think you should get more for that because that's a game-changing play. That's a playmaker's play. And also the person who picks it off or scoops and scores get points for that as well. 4 points for a play that seals the win. We saw Keith Tandy do this a bunch 2 years ago. Last night, even though Ryan Smith, I want to call him Justin Evans, Ryan Smith had a terrible game in coverage, he got 4 points because if that pass was complete, Miami could have gone out there and kicked basically a game. They had a chance at a game-winning field goal, but he picked it off. Game over, seals the victory. Bucks win. He got 4 points for that. Had a terrible game, but you can't argue that he didn't seal it for you. So I think plays like that, which are going to happen, probably few and far in between. Those are worth 4 points. 6 points for defensive TV, such as scoop and score, interception return. That's pretty obvious. And then add a point. This is a little weird. Add a point for any non-turnover that occurs on 3rd down. So if it's a tackle for loss and it happens on 3rd down, you get an extra point besides just a single point. If it's a pass breakup, that happens on 3rd down, you get an extra point because it happened on 3rd instead of like 1st or 2nd down. So that's it. That's the breakdown. Once you look at it and read it, it really starts to make a lot more sense. I know I've talked about it on the Petercast a couple of times, and I didn't really have a breakdown or break it all down for everyone. Everyone's kind of like, huh? Like, what do you mean? Now, I like to address sort of the 2 biggest issues that, I guess the biggest issue and one other thing. I've gotten some people on Twitter ask me, like, what about QBs? Like, why aren't you tracking QBs? One is if you want to see QB stats, they're out there, like 3rd down efficiency, 4th quarter, 1st quarter, games in the rain, QBR, those are yes, something that you could put into this formula that I've made. Like I could make up a formula for that, but then who is it really going up against? Like of any other player, a box score will tell you how a quarterback did. You can look up in a box score and it'll tell you how the team did on 3rd down efficiency. They'll tell you how they did on 4th down efficiency. Plus, you get a percentage breakdowns of completions. You'll get how many completions, how many throws, how many like all that's there for you to consume. So me adding to it, it's not really against anybody. The quarterback's such a unique position, and more than likely, hopefully, the Bucks only have 1 quarterback play per game because I don't want to due to injury. Obviously, the first 3 is going to be Fitzpatrick. There's an argument if he plays game 4 or not, and then Jameis Winston from 4 or 5 through the rest of the year. So it wouldn't be fair to who am I making these stats for? Like, okay, Fitzpatrick got 25 points. Was that good or bad? Like, how do you know that? Because there's no one else to compare it against. Like the linebackers, you can say, okay, Levante David got 5, but Quan Alexander got 8. So you can see who had a bigger impact in the game as linebacker or defensive end or defensive line as a whole or cornerbacks or safeties. There's always somebody to match it up against. You can say variables like, well, they didn't throw to the other guy if you're talking about cornerbacks or safeties as often, and this guy didn't have as many plays on the field as this player. Yeah, but those are minute things. It's when you're in there, do you make plays in clutch situations? And that's sort of what the whole system's based around. So I just don't think there's nothing to compare the quarterback to. So, once again, Jameis Winston comes out and gets 16 points. Is that good or bad? I don't know, because I'm not going to track the opposing quarterback they play. I'm just not doing it because I'm busy tracking the defense. And quite honestly, I don't care. I don't care what Drew Brees or Cam Newton or Carson Wentz or Ben Roethlisberger's game against us playmaking, DaxStats playmaking score system is. I don't care. And so that's why I'm not doing quarterback, because if you really want to know, there's tons of stats out there that do it better than I ever will, that you can find and sort of see how the quarterback matches up against everybody else in the league. Because if I just do it, it's just matching up against nobody. It's like, okay, that's what he got. Is that good or bad? I don't know. And I had another question about, and this, we wrap it up right after this. I had another question about offensive line. There's a few reasons why I'm not doing offensive line. Probably the biggest one, because it's just time, honestly. Time, and I don't know exactly what they're doing on each play. I'd have to watch each play 5 times so I could watch every single offensive lineman and then grade them out individually. But the problem is I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be doing on every play. So I don't know if they're doing it correctly or not. Now it's real easy to, I guess, for most of the time be like, oh, Donovan Smith gave up a sack, or Ryan Jensen gave up a sack, -2 points, minus whatever I say giving up a sack is. But how do I counter that by giving them plus points? Like if the running back ran to your side and they got at least 5 yards, like the whole left side gets a point. But what if the block that really sprung them came from, Dot getting to the second level and sealing off the backside linebacker? So it's just way too much work. Plus, I don't know what they're supposed to be doing when I'm watching the play. Yes, I can see it's a good block, but even is that really where you're supposed to be? If they get in the film room and and George Warhop is like, yeah, that was a good block, but you're supposed to be blocking that guy, the guy that made the tackle. So that's why I'm not doing offensive line. One, it's just way too much work. Two, I really don't know what I'm looking at. And three, there's nothing to. Yes, it's easy to track stats for offensive line, but there's no positive to go against that. Because I don't know what I'm looking at, and I'm honestly not going to take the time to watch all 5 guys every single offensive play. So that's it. That's pretty much the video. I had some questions, to get it, in the frame, that I have it up pinned to my Twitter account, once again at Rendax, REN_DAXT. The scoring system's written out there in a digital copy or a long form or hard copy, if you will, pinned to the top of my homepage. Go check it out. If you have any questions after you've seen this video, please DM me or tweet at me. I'll be happy to answer them. But that's pretty much it. Those are the reasons why I think I broke down the yardage for his running backs and receivers and tight ends, and on the defensive side of the ball, why you're not getting points just for tackles, or why you're not getting points for incompletions. Matt Ryan throws to Julio Jones and Ryan Smith is covering him, but Matt Ryan overthrows the ball. Do I give a point to Ryan Smith because Matt Ryan threw a bad pass? Well, he didn't catch it. So, yeah, I guess you did your job, but did you do your job, or did Ryan not do your job and you're just benefiting off of it? Those are the kind of things I'm trying to avoid in this, points for playmakers that deserve it in clutch situations. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. This will not be being uploaded to the PeterCast podcast stream. This is going to be a YouTube only. I hope you enjoyed it. You can find me on Twitter. I've told you like 9 times. Also follow at the PeterCast on Twitter and at Brent Allen Live, the co-host of the PeterCast. And then of course, here's this YouTube channel. Please, you don't have to like the video if you want, but please do subscribe. We appreciate it. We have new swag in. Just to finish this up, we have like cups and cell phone cases and banners, which they call tapestries. Really, they're flags. Shirts, shirts, of course, shirts are in there. Tote bags. I think there's a clock. So all that, there's a whole swag shop out there with PeterCast stuff on if you want to do it. And of course, we're out there on Patreon, something we just started up. We're getting a really nice response. Thank you to everyone that's been supporting the pod and what we do here. And, Bucks are 1-0 in preseason. Who cares? I don't know. I heard something today, and I liked it a lot, and I'm gonna use it as well. Preseason games don't count, but they matter, and we saw that last night. So, go Bucks! We'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.